everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Momentum Live. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are in the world today, but especially in Melbourne, where it is a beautiful sunny afternoon here. So thank you so much for joining us. Today, I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about a project that we did a couple of months ago now, back in pre-COVID times. And we're going to be doing a bit of a cinematography breakdown, and we're going to be talking about how we develop story through using things like cinematography. And to do this, I'm joined by our director of photography and also content producer at Momentum, Lockie. Lockie, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are ya? What's going on?
Very good. Excited to have you here. So,
Sure.
Couple of delays there, but yeah. We'll keep going. I think today is going to be really exciting, and to give a bit of context, this is from a project that we did with one of our clients, City of Greater Dandenong Youth Services. I think we shot it towards the end of last year, but they only sort of got released through our social media recently and things like that. But we teamed up with one of their action groups, which was their Youth United Against Family Violence action group initiative, and basically we kind of worked with them to develop the stories and create 3 ads which can be used to promote White Ribbon Day and just family violence prevention awareness in general, which is especially important in times right now. So we've got 3 ads to show you. Lockie, how about we just sort of kick off and show the first one, and
let's jump straight
we'll sort of
into
go
it,
from there and have a bit of a chat about the thought process behind all the cinematography and things like that. So the first one we're going... Oops, sorry. Just cut you off there.
That's what I said. Sounds good.
Cool. Good stuff. I love internet delays and things like that. Makes things so much easier. So we're going to start off with an ad, and this ad was built around displaying conversations about image-based abuse. So let's have a look at that one. And I'm just going to also get rid of you there.
And if I didn't go straight away, it would have been good. And I said, what am I going to do? So I just went and cooked. Hey Mark, your girlfriend's here.
Dude, it's been ages since I've seen Sarah. How you guys doing?
You want to know how we're going? Check this out. She sent this to me.
Is that Sarah naked? Why is he showing me this? Is he trying to brag? Should I tell him this isn't right? What if he gets mad? He might not mean any harm by it. But she would have sent this to him trusting only he would see it. She wouldn't want him to be showing others.
Oh, come on, don't enjoy it too much.
Come on, mate. Would Sarah want you to share that?
All right, jeez. Looks like we've got a jealous buzzkill on our
Look,
hands.
man, we don't want to see that stuff. She's your partner. Show her some respect.
So really cool ad there. I really like that one. Especially it's very visual. There's lots of colors and things like that. So maybe we'll start off there. Could you talk us through like the lighting decisions and I guess what sort of inspiration we took to sort of light this? And while we're talking, I'm also going to share some screenshots of both our storyboarding, but also what it looks like next to the finished product as well. So yeah, Lockie, talk us through, I guess, the complementary colors and how they all sit nicely together and why we chose to go with this color palette.
Yeah, for sure, Michael. So this was a really fun one to light. The colors are really cool. Got to sort of experiment with those opposite ends of the spectrum and colors and things like that. I guess pink and the blue, they tend to really mash together really nicely. And this was a nice sort of moment for us to experiment with just party colors. And also, whilst doing that, sort of play around with opposite ends of the spectrum as far as good versus bad and what sits between and things like that.
Totally. I think one of the things as well that I really liked is our our sort of perpetrator of the abuse has this really harsh purple light on him, and it kind of has this bit of like a... It has subtle tints of like red and pink in there, but it kind of makes him stick out and feel like a bad guy, where you've kind of got the lighting on our sort of heroes there kind of split in between, because, you know, partly, you know, they're his friend and they don't want to have got him too much, but also they really need to call him out in his behavior. So we kind of use those mixes of the colors on different sides of their face to kind of show that too. Just going to cut back to this references here and sort of just show you some other bits and pieces. So yeah, you can really see the color contrast, especially on this shot here, which I really like. In terms of comparing the close-up of like our hero here, who is Rami, and the close-up of the perpetrator, which you can see here a little bit better. Yeah, can you talk us through a little bit about the light placement and how we managed to get the look we wanted to sort of show, I guess, the differences in contrast, I guess. Actually, before we even get there, it might even be good just to look at the hero to start off with. You know, can you talk us through the framing and the lighting and kind of how we landed on this particular look in terms of color palette?
Yeah, for sure. So without being over the top and saying it's, you know, red versus blue, good versus evil, sort of going for a more stylistic look with the old pink and blue. You'll see there on like our hero, which you've just watched the ad, you'll be able to see that he's quite conflicted in like how he's going to approach those next moments, but he's the good guy in the story. The blue sort of really takes him over. He's more of a stern, sort of calming character in this, and that blue really highlights that. I think if we can go over to the comparison.
Yep.
So yeah, you'll see there. I do forget the characters' names. Yeah, we have the perpetrator and we have the hero. You'll see there on the bad guy's face, he's mainly pink, but he does have that little bit of blue because we're not going over the top. They are in the same room, and it does have to seem natural. So I guess we honestly, we did land on this color very early on, as you can see with the storyboards. Mostly because it looks great. And there is room for, you know, black and white, red, blue, good, bad in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And we wanted to mix it up a bit too, because not often in the sort of work that we do, especially Momentum, we get to really play around with the lighting and make something look really different to some of the stuff that people would normally expect from us. So we definitely use that to our advantage to make something that looks, really, really pleasing to the eye. And I'm really happy with how that came out. I guess in terms of the setup for all three of them, can you talk through a little bit about the lighting placement in the room and kind of how we managed to hide the lights and things like that? Because throughout that, you know, luckily there's a number of corners, but we kind of shot in nearly every single direction in this room.
Yeah, this was tricky. It was super fun to figure out, but it was actually pretty tricky. You'll see there, behind our middle character there is like a clear sort of pink and blue. That's a corner. We've tucked a light right in the very, very corner there to avoid that. For the most part, we didn't want to be shooting around lights, and we didn't want to be lighting around shots. We wanted to set up something that we could move around and not have to keep swapping and changing. So the lights do stay in relatively, you know, the same spot, with the exception of our sort of, I don't even know what we'd call that light. Our hero pink light, not hero pink light, our perpetrator pink light does move a tiny bit there between close-ups. So honestly, these lights, they're just so tucked into corners and way high up, which wasn't easy because all of those actors, believe it or not, are quite tall.
Yeah, so, yeah, they were pretty tall.
Getting higher than them was pretty hard.
For sure. And I think just as well, the way that we use the technology that we had available to us, so we used all of our really high-powered aperture lights and used a lot of like really large ways to light the frames. So, you know, using things like softboxes and space lights or China balls and things like that to really just put as much light into the area as possible from the few spaces we were able to actually have to place the lights into the frame. And I think being able to do that not only gave us a really soft quality of light when we needed it and a more harsh quality on people like our perpetrator, but it actually sort of just gave it less of a feel that we intentionally lit it. It really was just about kind of making it look like a house party and, you know, really just sort of showing, the environment and sort of what situation that they're placed in.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at our second commercial. I really, really like this one, but I do want to quickly note that this is probably one of the more intense out of the three, being a commercial about family violence. Just want to quickly flag that some viewers may find this particular commercial more confronting than the other ones. But we'll just take a quick look and then we'll talk about how we went through it after that.
Where were you? You were at the park with him again.
I told you not to hang out with him. If you're gonna live here, you're gonna go by my rules. Oh, you think he's so great, Well, you know what? I could leave you at any time and I'd be fine without you. You would be the one who struggled. I hate how angry you make me. Oh, here we are again. Everyone's watching as she plays the victim. No, I don't even know why you do this, you know? I am all you have. Maybe not for much longer. Listen. I am trying to tell you what's wrong and you're just sitting there. I have no clue why I even try to help you.
So big props to the young people because they pretty much came up with a concept for that idea by themselves. And we kind of just helped and added a few tips and tricks and ideas along the way to kind of make it happen. But yeah, I love that commercial. I think it's such a fantastic way to represent that, you know, no matter who you're talking to, no one should be treated poorly. But yeah, this is a really good example as well about, I guess, how well we kind of spent time in the pre-production process making sure that we're happy with how everything looks, and it actually translated later on to pretty much nearly completely match the storyboarding. And if you take a look at the the final clip of it versus the storyboard, you can really see that we kind of stuck to what we thought we wanted. But yeah, maybe just talk us through a little bit of the thought process, especially here. How do we get from the storyboarding through to the final image that you can see on the left there?
Yeah, for sure. So similar to the last one, color is super important in this commercial. Unlike the last one, we've muted quite a lot of the color, and our intention from the get-go was to use bland, dark, sort of frightening colors, at least on this character here, the bad guy.
For sure.
Going from the storyboard here, you can see that we've referenced negative fill at the front there to have that real sort of spooky shadow line go through the front of his face there. This is usually just to show depth, and although shadows are natural for characters, that sort of thick shadow in the center there, it really sort of shows off the more frightening features of a person. Especially having a character standing over us like that. Really plays into that for sure. And that's
the thing that I like about it too is
yeah.
sorry to cut you off, but it really kind of just takes away the detail in his eyes, and it kind of just makes him look more sinister because you can't really look into his eyes, and he's kind of just like shouting at you ridiculously. So yeah, it kind of just pushes that whole feel of uncertainty and kind of anger, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of, it adds that the beady-eyed sort of look where it's just like black with the little pinpricks of white from the shine. It's really sort of dehumanizes characters.
Totally.
In a good way, because he's a bad guy. So
yes.
yeah,
absolutely. So moving on to the next shot of this very, very good boy. This dog was so fun to have on set. But anyway, and this is another great example of like really working out what we wanted to achieve with the feel of this in the edit, and wanting to work out what we wanted to do in pre-production, and then delivering on that in the final edit. I think this one in particular really shows the lack of color and I guess vibrance in the room. This could have very easily looked like a very high key vibrant commercial you'd see on TV, but I think the lack of color here kind of just really shows that the person getting attacked, or the dog getting attacked in this case, is in a really bad place.
Yeah, it's also kind of important here. I just want to quickly mention that although this ad is so sad, this was the first time I got to work with an animal on set, and I truly fell in love with this dog. Lots of pats, very good boy. This shot in particular, this whole commercial only has 3 shots, the third being a moving shot. This shot in particular is, although muted, is still the most vibrant of any of the other shots, purely because you've got the color in the dog's face, we've got the pillows, and we've got the floorboards behind. Although they're muted, they were still very intentional, especially with the angle that we went down, is because this animal is supposed to represent clueless, innocent. It's the brightest possible character that could be in this story. That's why we've included that. But yeah, that was, as you can see in the storyboards there with the color behind, that was our goal all along. Was really, really, really awesome to be able to allow that to happen, especially working with animals, because it's sort of going in being like, is it going to work? But it was really, really fun. Yeah,
for sure. And I think as well, something that I find really interesting is if we quickly jump back to the shot of the perpetrator here, and the lack of detail in the middle of his face versus the contrast of the white patch of the dog's fur in the middle of their face. It kind of just really just pushes that opposite feel, and sort of shows that they're in different headspaces, and I don't want to read too much into this because it is just the dog's fur, but that was kind of a bit of a lucky accident in terms of the visuals. It kind of just helped us
for sure
really push across the point that the good and the bad, I guess, of this particular commercial. Cool. So moving on to the last shot, which is moving shot. And I really love this reveal too, because it's a bit of a, I don't want to swear, but a bit of an oh crap moment for the commercial when you realise that it wasn't a dog all along. He was having a go at his partner. What a bad guy. But yeah, could you maybe talk us through a bit of the reveal and I guess the thought process of this particular ending?
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is a strange shot because we go from 2 different power levels with the first 2 shots, going from angled down, stepping over the victim, and then from the victim's point of view. So we've got the up and down, the different power levels. For this shot, we're on the same eye line as the victim as we move across, and you'll notice, the floorboards disappear once the dog disappears, on the side there and behind, and all color is gone. You'll see the victim in human form after they've anamorphed back into a human, is now almost matching the exact same color as the back wall. It's sort of, we're seeing this person on their level in their life, and we're seeing the truth. That was the intention behind this eye level shot. It's also yeah, like Michael said, a very oh crap moment as you come around to the front there.
Yeah, totally. And I think as well with this is a pretty good example of like us using the angles of the camera to kind of show the dominance and the vulnerability of everyone. And you can especially see that when you've got this shot really looking down on the dog, and if you go back to this one where we're kind of like looking up the nose of our perpetrator who looks very intimidating from that angle. And you know, I've totally forgotten what this is called. Is it power? Power something?
Yeah, so it's like energy and power levels in particular.
Power levels,
so that
of
can
course.
come, yeah, power levels. So that can come from height. That can come from camera positioning. Sometimes it can come from lighting even, but usually it revolves around having one character higher up than another or over another. So
For sure.
just in that those three images there, you can see on the left there, our abuser is closer to the camera and above our victim, which is the dog at this point. So that's what power levels are, and they're very, very useful when it comes to getting a point across very, very quickly, like we have with these commercials.
Yeah, totally, for sure. Cool, good stuff. Well, I think the last one we're going to show you is probably in the middle, I guess, of intensity levels. So, you know, not as intense and full on as the one that we just showed you, but yeah, just keep in mind that some people may also find this one confronting as well.
Happy birthday, dear Rami. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Orange candles. Yeah.
It's not good enough. Nothing is ever good enough for you, is it? Oh.
Why would you mind? I work 6 days a week, 2 shifts a day. And this is what I have to get in the end. Getting insulted from you all the time. Why do you have to make such a big deal about it?
We'll make you another birthday.
Hey, if you're not happy, the door is over there. Please leave. Eating your cake. Look at me and I'll talk to you. Look at me. Hey, where are you going? I haven't finished. Woman, I'm talking to you. How dare you leave from there? Listen to me. Still talking.
Wow, what a fun commercial. That's look, I that's definitely one. I keep saying they're all my favorite, but I really like all of these ones, and this one in particular I feel like has a lot of really interesting things to pull apart. We won't talk about sound too much, but sound was certainly one of those things that we spent a lot of time to sort of work out the tone and feel and kind of push the normality in a way of, you know, this situation keeps happening and it feels normal to the young people and it's kind of just fading into the background. So you'll notice as we went through, the dialogue started to become a lot more dulled and hard to hear, and it kind of just became something that happens in the background continuously, which is very sad. But there's just as much visual stuff that we're doing here to make this all look really interesting. So yeah, Lockie, talk us through I guess visually what our goals were for this particular commercial.
Yeah, for sure. Just like you said, we probably shouldn't have favorites, but I love this ad, despite how terrible and sad it is.
Yes.
This commercial, once again, is very little shots. I think there's only 5 in total. And we use movement quite symbolically throughout this, as well as lighting, of course, and just in general mise en scène within the scene and what we've included and what we've omitted. I think one of the biggest things that definitely plays a factor in this story is the dolly. So for this entire almost this entire ad, we start in close and we move out far, and as we move out further, we start to show a wider picture of the child and the child's life. And as we move further away, the child becomes less important. And we start to see everything else that's going on around them. Of course, we see parents arguing. We see party's getting worse.
Yep.
We see less family, less friends, and that's really the point of the ad, is that we're not zeroing in and seeing the real victims of the story. We're just seeing the drama as a whole, and that's why this final shot is so important, is because we change it up and we go from going from close up to wide, going from wide to close up, and we zero in on the real victim of the story. And I love all the actors in this commercial. But yeah, our main is definitely one to watch. He was really, really good, and he's very, very good in this very final moment here. But yeah, that's definitely one of the things we're very, very conscious of when we were storyboarding this out. The storyboards themselves are very repetitive because obviously we just want to go zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom in.
Yeah,
but
it
yeah,
looks
this
like
was
a piece
really,
of cake
really
or a
fun.
walk in the park to actually, on paper to film this. But there was so much that went on in the background, and massive props to the whole team of young people and the team at council that did all the set dressing and things like that too. Because as you mentioned, what's in the frame is just as important as what isn't in the frame, and I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see on your phones on things like Facebook and YouTube, but, if you look at the first shot in the top left-hand corner there, you'll notice that there's no dishes and everything's really clean, versus the shot on the bottom where you've got a lot of dishes that haven't been done lying in the sink. There's more bills on the fridge, because, expenses are piling up and things are getting a bit more tense. Just the overall quality of like the presents and the presentation, there's just a lot less effort put into everything, to the point where you get to here and it's just sad. I feel like I want to cry for this kid. So yeah, it's I don't know what to say, but I love this commercial so much. And if anyone has any questions about any of the 3 commercials that we have showed you, please let us know. We'll do what we can to get to them. And also hello to Sam and Adrian that we've got watching and commenting across different channels and things like that. Thanks for checking this out.
Guys.
Yeah, I think this is there anything else about this one in particular that we sort of were really conscious about when we were trying to show the deterioration? Like, talk us through even the lighting changes and things like that too, because you'll notice there's a lot of different color contrast and brightness levels that kind of were really fun to play around with.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, lighting and color, super important as we move forward throughout this story, just like the other commercials. I would like to throw a quick shout out to Matt Smith, who is our go-to, what do you call him, compositor, special effects artist?
Visual effects artist, I guess.
Visual effects artist?
Go-to genius, if you will.
Yeah, just all-round champion for helping us add those little final touches. Like in the actual final shot, we see a bit of a punch mark in the wall there on the right-hand side, which wasn't in any of the previous shots. That's the great Matt Smith there, working hard.
Yeah, we didn't want to smash up the Airbnb that we rented for this, so that one was very greatly appreciated that Matt could add that in for us. But he even did little things, like things you wouldn't even notice. One of the challenges I wouldn't say challenges, but one of the things of the production is because we were working with a lot of young people, we had to minimize the risk on set, so we weren't actually even allowed to light the candles for the first 2 shots. So Matt, in his infinite patience, went through and keyed in like how many candles are on each cake, like maybe 10 or 12 candles, and he individually composited the flames for each candle and made it look flawless, so you can't even tell that those candles aren't lit.
As well as the smoke when they blow the candles.
Yeah. Oh, I don't envy what he had to do, but in a way, I hope no one did notice, because if they didn't notice, then he did a great job. So.
No, for sure. Yeah, sorry to spoil some of the magic there, but we had to give a shout out because that was a very intentional add-on there. It was really, really, really helped us sell that part of the story for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even just cutting back to the shots here, you can see in like the top left-hand corner, sunny afternoon, beautiful, the sun's beaming through, everything's so fantastic and happy, and it just gets slowly more muted and muted and muted, and then it changes color as well. So, the first two are kind of relatively bright and warm, then it just gets cooler and cooler as we go through, and then when we get to the very end here, it's a completely like blue, really hard looking light source that kind of just shows that they're all in a really bad place, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Look, I think we probably don't have time to go into too many more details, but I guess overall, what was like the your favorite thing about working on this project?
Oh, there was so many great things about doing all this. I do think being able to show some of the young people different things on set was really, really, really rewarding. I loved working with, I think the dog was named Rocky. Was that right?
Yes.
Yes. Right. Loved working with Rocky. That was amazing. Yep. And just in general, just really, really enjoyed working with the extreme amount of talent throughout all of those commercials.
Totally.
There was definitely not a weak link at all. They're all amazing. And they all took it very seriously. And it was just, I just think that the whole project was a pleasure. It was really nice to sit down and really think through serious topics and portraying them appropriately. And then through lighting and like sound even and cinematography, and really sort of getting down, making sure that we're nailing the story as well as we can. That was a real pleasure. I don't think I have a favorite moment. I think the whole project was just really, really great to be a part of.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, totally. Everyone was just so talented and open to collaboration, and all the young people just had such an amazing spirit to want to contribute. I don't think I've ever... we've worked with a lot of youth groups, and I think this one in particular, they were just so enthusiastic and open to doing everything, and they were... We were getting to points on set where we're actually running ahead of time, which was not... I like to say we run a tight ship, but sometimes when we're doing youth projects, they do have a tendency, because we are teaching and mentoring at the same time, to take a bit longer. But we got to a point where they were well ahead of us, so we had to up our game and move quicker with lighting and things like that. So and they all did a great job, and I think the fact that the project has done so well is a big testament to their work. Adrian's got a question. So Adrian wants to know, what are the important keys to creating the visual story? Is it lighting, camera movement, or the color grade, or is the story dependent?
Ooh, I would have to just say it's definitely all of them. I think story is key. I think you start with story, and then you build around that. Every little piece has to work backwards towards the story and sort of help build that strong piece. I myself, I do a lot of writing for Momentum. I do a lot of filming for Momentum. So I definitely always start with story. And just because I do a lot of filming, I usually go straight into the visuals after that. Yeah. But as a person who really enjoys the end product, I know that lighting and sound are both things that really play a strong part in the story itself. And usually the better they can all be together, the better the entire thing is at the end. So as far as key pieces, honestly, I don't think there's one more than the other. Maybe just story, to be honest, to start with, and then everything else just has to come directly after that.
Totally. For sure. And it is a bit of everything in a way too, because we have all those tools available to us, whether it be lighting or camera or story, and we use everything to really, get the final product there. So there's no one main contributing factor, but I think the story and the intention behind what we're trying to do is the main driver, because, if we didn't have a plan or a story or an intention for these videos, then it doesn't matter how pretty they look or how well they're produced. There's no substance to them. So and I think the fact that it has done so well for City of Greater Dandenong, I think a couple of weeks ago this even won a national award for local government, and they won the addressing violence against women and children category for this. So it's definitely been a fantastic project, not just the video side of things, but the work that they've also done with it too. So yeah, we're just really happy and glad that we were able to do the project justice. And I think now more than ever, these videos are really important for people to see while we're going through this difficult time together. But yeah, thank you all so much for your questions. I'm just going to very quickly double check if we've got any more. Cool. Well, Lockie, thank you so much for joining us today. We might leave it there, and we'll see you very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See you later.
Cool. Thanks, Lockie. And thank you all as well for joining. I think today was really interesting, and we want to do more learning and teaching about some of our work, and offering some feedback on how we tell stories as professional filmmakers. And we're going to be continuing to do that next week, because we have Annette from Marina City Council Youth Services joining us, and we're going to be talking about this new documentary which is launching on Friday and Saturday, We Know Your Name But Not Your Story. Super excited for that, and we're going to be talking through what that process was like. But yeah, if you have any ideas for what you do want to see on the show in the meantime, let us know. We'd love to hear them. But until next Tuesday, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next week on Momentum Live. Thanks, everyone.